Welcome to Seeing Scarlet, a special breaking news edition of Seeing Scarlet. We got her, y'all. We brought her home. Jordyn Merritt, transfer from Florida, Plano native, is coming to Texas Tech next year as a rising senior transfer with 2 years of eligibility, we believe, because of her COVID year. And we are hype, and we're going to give you a brief little intro of who she is, what to expect. If you haven't been listening to other podcasts, this is who Texas Tech is getting in Jordyn Merritt.
Dude, what a huge pickup. This is so wild that we just had an episode talking about, fingers crossed, like how can we bring her home? And we did. I'm so hype. I've been watching some of her clips here and there, and especially today.
Yeah.
I've been rolling them. So yeah, a huge snag, our first sign of a transfer success. So I'm really excited to have Jordyn in Lubbock, back in West Texas. Girl, the dirt's missed you. We've missed you.
Yeah. I'm stoked. You know, it seemed like the visit went well, but you never know, right? True. Is she going to sign somewhere closer to home? Is she going to go to a bigger program? But no, she came to Texas Tech. She believed in what she saw there, and now she can help take this program to the NCAA tournament. And who knows after that, right? So it's such a big signing, and she fits in so well with, I think, what the coach. It's hard for us to like project what the coaching staff wants to do, but what you see, the potential of what could be with her in the lineup is really exciting, alongside all the other talent around her. Like, she's not gonna be like coming in and being like the only person on the team. She's joining a really talented group of players, and that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, I can only imagine going on a visit to Texas Tech when we know all the things that we have of like, why would somebody go here, and then having like Big Cat kind of show you around who she played with and won a state championship with. I bet, dude, I would love to have a tour from Cat, or like just a lay of the land. What's up? Give me the culture, give me the real stuff, because Cat is gonna tell you straight up. So I hope that means that, you know, Jordyn is seeing what we're building here, seeing the culture that coach fosters every single day, and then some of our exiting players continuing to work, and like we've talked about so many times, just being the players that we love, that are focused on the future. Like, how do we get to the next step next year? So Jordyn, welcome to Tech, welcome to Lubbock, or I guess welcome back. You've been here, but now it's home. Let's get to work. So the clips that I've seen, and y'all, we know Shelby, we love Shelby. The stats and the background that she has collected, I cannot wait for y'all to hear. But what I've seen from Jordyn, 6'3", athletic, big. She
Say it again.
Shoot.
Say it again.
It's like, yes, thank you. She can do it all. Her defense is great. She's a great rebounder. And half of the other clips I've seen, she's shooting threes. Like, what?
Yeah,
that's not even what I expected. So what, Shelby, do you see? Like, what's some of her background? Has she always been in this position? Was that just kind of what she was playing before? Or give me some of her background.
Her background, she's a very decorated high school athlete. She was one of the top recruits coming out of her class. She's played on the under 17 team, USA team, the under 18 USA team. She competed in the 3x3 World Championships. She's done all the things that these top recruits that you hear about do. She was Florida's like highest rated recruit since the 2010s, I think, to get her there. She was a 5-star. I'm not really sure what got her there all the way to Florida in the first place. Like, I wasn't paying attention to recruiting back then, but she went there out of Plano. Again, she won state with Cat when she was there at the 6A level. Plano's a huge school. She had like a 97 grade out of high school. Number 4 player in the entire state, number 27 overall. She was like in the Jordan Classic, which back then it was kind of similar to McDonald's All-American, kind of same vibes. I don't even know if that still happens, but same kind of deal. An All-Star game. Yeah, she was it coming out of high school. Now she's had injuries since then. So some might say she hasn't fulfilled that potential, but she's still a great player, which we'll get into. But she tore ACL her senior year in high school, so then her college career gets a little slowed up, right? She doesn't get to start right as a freshman. She has to recover from an ACL. And then I think last year, so if you look at, like, don't just go look at her stats from last year because she was injured a lot. She didn't play a lot. She had some other things going on. It was not her best year. Yeah. But then if you really want to see her full potential, you look at her sophomore season. Okay. She averaged 10 points a game, 5 boards, 1.3 steals a game, basically a block per game. And she shot a ridiculous 41% from 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Is silly. I don't know that we don't expect that. That is just insane. And she was getting up like 5 or 6 attempts a game. It wasn't like, oh, she just shot 20 and she shot 40%. It was a lot of attempts.
We would have to make more room because all of our shooters that we have, like, everybody needs to share a little bit of the 3-point line if we're gonna add another one. But like, she can do it. Oh my gosh,
I think that's the point. Cool. That is exciting about her. She can do it. Mm-hmm. Like this year, she shot more in the 20% range. Her freshman year, where she was all SEC Freshman of the Year team, she shot in the 20% range. So if she could find somewhere in the middle and shoot in the 30% range, that is a win for her position on the court. But what we need her to do at 6'3" and be that small forward at times, or even play the 5 at times in a small ball lineup. Yes. To be able to stretch out is something we miss. Like, Big Cat could do that, but she didn't do it as much. Like, that just wasn't what she was doing out there. But she was capable. She shot every once in a while, and you, like, need the same amount of merit. And when you watch Florida play, they shot a lot of threes. Like, I don't know that our offense is going to do the same as they did. They were chunking it up. The games I watched, it's like she was playing guard out there, basically. Just shooting threes, roaming around the outside.
Dude.
And I think you move her into our offense, she's going to play more of a traditional 4 or even a 5 at time if JoJo gets into foul trouble or is injured. But she can do both. That's what I love about her. She's versatile. Yeah. She's athletic. She can play inside. She can play outside. She can guard guards on the outside as a defender. She's not going to get overwhelmed. I mean, every once in a while, she might get taken off the dribble. She's 6'3", right? There's going to be small guards that can attack that. But she's really good at not getting into foul trouble when these guards are coming at her. Because at first, when I was watching the tape, I was like, she needs to be a little more aggressive. Like, these guards are just getting around her and making these crazy shots, which is true. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, they got around her and made some crazy shots. But as you watch it more, you just realize she's just really good at setting them up for a block. So sometimes she is going to get a layup, and people might be like, what the hell, like, get in front of her. And that's Planette, Pearson. They're going to work on that. Like, they'll get her figured out. But she's really good at not getting into foul trouble because of that, because she keeps her body off of these guards and knows that her length can just come around them and swat them. Yes. And in the SEC, they just had some really, like, I watched her against LSU, so I wanted to see her against the best. I watched her against LSU this year, and they had NBA 2-3 NBA quality guards on that team, right? So she was going against some really good finishers, and most players she would have blocked or they would have missed the layup, and they were making some crazy shots around her, but she was making them make the crazy shot. It wasn't like she gets down there and it was an easy hoop. So that's what I loved about her a lot from the athleticism side.
Oh my gosh, and having that height where we've just struggled because we haven't. And in addition to that, having that athleticism, those were some of the clips that I watched too, is if you are just watching the ball, you think like, wait, where is she? But she's planning, how am I going to take this ball away right when they start to go up? And yeah, I'm excited to have some more height, more weapons down there. But again, she could be anywhere. And I watched a couple of clips where she had some clutch shots, like into the game type environment. And to me, that's showing a little bit of like her maturity as an athlete and a potential leader on this team. And especially knowing maybe 2 years left, hopefully. 2 years.
She wants them. She should have to.
Yeah, I hope so. Dang. I think that's all formulating perfectly into what we've grown on in this last season and where we're going, and adding people to the party. And Jordyn just seems to fit so many of the challenges that we had that were out of our control. And now that we have a little bit of control of what's going on, I'm looking forward to it. That's it.
I think the word that you said there is like maturity, and people are going to think of her as an athlete because of where she came in high school, and she is an athlete, don't get me wrong, but she's not watching at least this year, and she was injured a lot. I couldn't find a lot of tape of her last year, which would have been great because that was her prime year. But she didn't seem explosive, right? Like when you watch Kyla play, which is unfair comparison because Kyla is like one of the most explosive athletes in the country, and people that don't understand that the girl is 6 foot or 6'1" and can dunk. There's plenty of women around the country that can dunk, but not at 6'1". They're like 6'5", 6'6", you know? Like she can dunk at 6'1". She's explosive. So, like, you can't compare them on an athleticism level. That's not fair. But what she is she's a very smooth athlete. She's a very mature athlete. She's learned, whether it's from injuries or whatever, she knows how to do things. There was a couple of plays in LSU where she was guarding Reese. Everyone knows Angel Reese. And on the outside, she would get a couple steals, go down, and instead of tacking Reese, which she could have done, but Reese is like 6'6", whatever, she just made like a quick inside move, stepped back, stopped in transition, and made a jumper against, like, a lot of people, you know, you one-on-one, you're taught to go shoot that layup no matter what, but she's savvy enough to know, like, I could shoot a jumper from outside. It might not be the highest percentage play to do all the time, but, like, she was smooth enough to do it, and it was clean. It was a clean jumper, and things like that. I just find her to be really smooth, and she's also someone that Kyla can learn from. Because if Kyla her peak potential is insane. Because if she can take her athleticism and learn from someone like a Merritt, even like how Katie Farrell played, and get more of those guard skills, that's where her potential is going to be huge. Because if Merritt doesn't come, Kyla's probably going to end up starting a lot. She's going to play a lot of the game. She's going to play a lot of minutes this year either way. If Merritt's here or not, she'll just be off the bench probably. But if she has a year to like learn from a savvy senior that plays the same position that we want her to play, get those guard skills down, I think that's also a huge thing that Merritt brings as a mentor on this team, is someone that she can look up to, and she can, like, that's who we want you to be, but then you could even be even like better, which is crazy because Merritt's a great player because of your athleticism. So that's a sidebar thing, but I think she's an athlete. I just wouldn't call her quote unquote explosive. I hope that I'm wrong on that, because again, the only film I watched was of this year, and I know she had some ankle injuries and stuff going on, so that could have been it. But she's a huge upgrade at that position from athleticism than we've had. So people are going to see a huge jump in athleticism. She can run the floor when she wants to. There's probably some times where you're like, she was the trailer, but that might have been part of their system, and she's supposed to be the trailer. But when she wanted to run, she made a couple of plays in transition against LSU, like quick passes from her guards that she caught on the fly, had to make an adjustment midair and made a layup. Like, she is such a smooth athlete. Like, she is an athlete, and she's fluid, and she just looks like she has control of her limbs. You know what I mean? Like, you get some of those bigs, and they're just not fluid. She's very fluid in her athleticism, which is my favorite part of her game, is she just seems like she can hoop in all phases.
Such a
1 through 5, and she can pass the ball too. It's just great.
Yeah, the smoothness that we had last season with like Bryn, I keep thinking about that, and that is such a great way to describe her gameplay. If y'all haven't seen her play yet, she ended up scoring 12 points in that game against LSU, and they lost, I think, 90-79. So, I mean, going against the national champions at that time, and having a game like that against the Angel Reeses of the world, I think that's going to be really cool to see the dynamic of, because we have some other smooth players, or like the ones that are maybe increasing with intensity, and players still trying to figure it all out. And Jordyn seeming to be that type of leadership, or at that point in her career where she knows what works for her, and what she can bring to the team. I love the thought of that, of a mentor and somebody to look up to, and almost like Kat was saying, okay, I'm out, but here, here's my replacement.
She's not going to be as point forward-ish as Kat was. Like, Kat was basically a point guard that we forced to play the 5.
We had to.
But that's what's so cool about Merritt is, one, our team will instantly be taller, will instantly be more athletic in the front court, but we'll be versatile. Like, I'm excited to see how Gerlich uses Merritt, because she could play the 4 in traditional lineups where we want to be taller. Because if you watch her at Florida, she played the 4 alongside a 6'6" center. Sound familiar? JoJo is 6'6", so she's familiar with that role. And you'll watch the tape, and she played a lot on the outside because she wasn't asked to be the center. But when that girl wasn't in the game, she bumped down to the 5, and she was playing Angel Reese. She was, guarding them. She's comfortable doing both because she's kind of a tweener. She's 6'3", so she could be the 5 in a lineup where Gurley's like, hey, we want to go small ball. We have a lot of athletic guards. We want to play 4 guards and you as our center. Imagine that lineup. That lineup's pressing people. That lineup's running. That lineup's shooting a lot of threes.
That's shooting.
Yeah, like you can do a lot of things with that lineup. And then there's also times where you need to go back to use your height because that's something we didn't have this year on an athletic side. And you have someone like JoJo who can play, and then they can play more traditional. You can match up against teams like UT, where UT had 6'6", 6'4", 6'3", all out there at the same time, right? Now you have at least 2 of those out there at the same time. And you don't have to go gimmicky and play zone the whole game and just hope they miss threes, because that's how we had to play UT and these other teams. Even Kansas State has Lee coming back, who was out injured all year, who's a great WNBA level talent that Kansas State didn't have this year. They're going to have her back. She missed the whole year injured. There's a lot of good bigs in the league. And so to have JoJo and Merritt, you don't have to worry about foul trouble as much now. They can play aggressive and not feel like, oh gosh, if I get in foul trouble, our team's done, because who else is going to come in and play? Like was Katie Farrell like, oh gosh, if Katie's in foul trouble, who's going to play the 5? Like we had, you had the people that came in, they just weren't able to hold up athleticism wise, and so that's what you love about it from a full game standpoint. Her athleticism and versatility are my 2 things that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, and again, like the highlights that I've watched, I think this will also benefit like our really good passers. Like I'm imagining like Ashley dribbling down the court, making a quick like pass to Shavers and then to Bailey, and then Bailey like sneaking inside to Merritt. There have been countless plays that I've seen Jordyn where she's paying attention to the ball movement, and how can she like sneak around the defense or make her presence known to where there's no stopping. So I think about how everybody's game is just going to be elevated because of this. And I mean, we can daydream forever and it might not happen, but from what we have seen so far, or what I have seen so far anyway, the way that Jordyn creates the opportunities, and it's almost like, again, it elevates the talent of our whole team that we have, which is already like, it was exciting to begin with. So how can we continue to like add the flair and add more accents to it? So oh man,
I love what I love what you said about the passing. Like I've said multiple times after watching JoJo highlights, like Maupin's gonna go off. Like I don't know how many assists Maupin averaged this year, 2 maybe, whatever. This girl is such a good passer. Like people get obsessed with Maupin's scoring. I get it. She's a great scorer, but she's a great fundamental passer, and she was the best player on our team, even better than our point guards at time, at feeding the post, which was Jazz, who we can talk about in a minute because we still have Jazz as well to bring off the bench in certain situations and really confuse defenses when you have Merritt and JoJo, and then hey, Big Jazz can come in and get a bucket. So like Maupin is so good at feeding her, and you had to be very particular in how you got Jazz the ball so she could score in the way that she can score. When you have an athletic receiver like Merritt, I watched a few highlights where she posted them up in space, the guard zipped in something, she catch it with one hand and go up and score. And she's just such an athlete down there. And Maupin's going to have a field day. Hopefully Chevalier too. We haven't gotten to see her play a lot, but I'm sure she's a good passer because she's a point guard. She has to be. But Maupin is going to be, she's taller. She's going to be able to pass over people on the outside. She's not going to get hounded like Chev is going to get hounded. And she's just going to be able to pass into Merritt. Like I'm telling you right now, I would be shocked if Bailey Maupin doesn't average at least 5 assists a game. And that's like on the low end, with being able to throw into Merritt and JoJo. And I think Merritt's gonna love playing with Maupin and our other guards, because she really wasn't. At least the games I saw this year, I think last year maybe she was more of a focal point. Everything she got was like because she went and got it. There were no set plays ran for her. They didn't even get it to her on the block a lot. Like she's open a lot down there, and they're just like chunking up threes because that was their offense. And I just think she's going to love playing for Gerlich, because Gerlich is so good at set plays. And she's so good at having set plays for everybody on the team. Like, every play Gerlich runs, there's 1 through 5 options. And it's like, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but everyone has a specific play within the play where they can win. Yep. If they're like, it works out that way. And Merritt's going to be a weapon for Gerlich in these set plays in a way that I don't think Florida used her. She was more just like, hey, go out there and be an athlete, get us boards. We'll get it to you when you're open. But there wasn't a lot of like playing through her. And I don't think she's going to be like every time down the court we're playing through Merritt because there's too many options on this team. But when we need to, she's going to have a lot of plays drawn up for her that she's going to be able to really be impactful and show her stuff, I think, a little bit more than she's been able to in the past. And that excites me for her because her, like we talked about earlier, her potential is huge. She was a Cheryl Miller Award watchlist candidate. It's like the top forwards in the country coming into the season. She got injured, so she didn't get to fulfill that. But you put her on this team with this setup, it's just a perfect situation for her to do her thing and not feel safe doing it. She comes from, y'all can go look it up. She comes from a situation in Florida where, bless her, she stuck around through a lot of stuff with their previous coach, things that went on. There was a whole E60 about it. Go watch it. And she stuck through that, and she's coming here, and she's going to be able to play, I think, for the first time as herself.
Yes.
And really live up to that potential and play in an environment where people really love each other. And I'm sure the players really loved each other in Florida too. It's not that, but like, she feels safe, and the fans, there's a lot of fan support here in Lubbock, obviously. So I'm excited to see. I just think her potential is so big. That's what's exciting about her. Like, don't just look at stats and be like, well, she doesn't this, and this. Well, she's going to get you 10 points a game. She's going to get you 5 points a game. She's going to get you a steal a game. She's going to get you a block a game. That's really great stats. Like, people get obsessed with like, oh, she didn't score 20 a game. She's a forward. She gets you 10, 5, a couple blocks, a couple steals. That's a great game.
Mission accomplished.
All day. That's all Big 12 level stuff. Like, sign me up. Put her on the team. Like, I'm excited about her being here and being able to do that for us.
I know. And we had so much excitement of who we are seeing moving up and just growing with this program. And you're totally right. I think Tech being a perfect place for her to execute her gameplay, and with the mind of Gerlich, the set plays, I'm going to have like just a permanent GoPro to record it all, to watch them. That's going to be amazing. And we talked about her offense, or how she could be just a complete weapon in the offensive role. I watched her steal this basketball from other teams that had families, Shelby, and it was so smooth. Like, I'm like, I don't even know where she came from, but she's already coast to coast laying it up. So defensively, smooth. I mean, we talked a little bit about her blocks, but those steals are gorgeous.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the same plays I did, but she's really good at help side defense and reading the play. She had a couple against Reese where they tried to feed her inside, and Reese has like 4 inches on her. And so sometimes they got it over her, but she was making them work. A lot of times she tipped it. She was sneaky about it, almost like in a football way, where she was like goading them in to pass it. Like, oh, I'm not here. Yeah, you throw that. And then she'd put up those long arms and slap it away. She'd be on the opposite side of the play and just time her help side defense in a way that was perfect. Like, she was very sneaky in the way. And every once in a while, she's going to give up a layup because of that, because she times it just wrong. But when she has the timing right, she sneaks over there. You're probably, what you were talking about is the same place I saw. She sneaks over there at the same time the girl's catching the ball. She's catching it, taking it from her. Doesn't even outlet pass because she's athletic enough to just dribble down the court and go finish herself. And that is really cool. She reminds me of Kat a lot. Kat was really good at that on the back end. And so that's where she's like Kat in a different way. They're not the exact same players. Like, I don't know, Merritt's getting on the floor and all that stuff. Like, it's hard for taller people to just die on the floor all the time. But she can pass. She can play great defense. She would have been, if you're looking at stats, we're like, okay, how would she fit into this team, right? She would have been second on the team in defensive rating, but by 0.1 behind Katie Farrell. 87.7 for Farrell. She was 87.8 defensive rating. Merritt was this year. And you go back to last year, which was her better year where she wasn't injured. She was an 84, which would have been easily the best on this team, which we need to get better at defense. And so you add in her next to JoJo, who's going to clean up a lot of stuff. Merritt won't have to be playing the 6'6" people if she can play the smaller ones, which she's will just dominate over. So it's just so exciting to see what she can do from that standpoint. She easily would have been first on the team in blocks per game. She's like in the 80th percentile in the country in blocks per game. And she's smooth about it. She only fouled out 2 times in her entire career at Florida in 3 seasons. Like, that's silly for a player that's blocking people that much. She's good at not getting in foul trouble while doing it. And then this year, she also would have been second on our team in rebounds per game. And behind Bree, I think. Bree led the team in rebounds. So, like, our team's just going to love that, right? You need people out there getting boards. Our coaches tweet about that, how much they emphasize getting defensive boards, and she gets a lot of them. So, she would have been a good piece even on this year's team, obviously. Like, she slides in there and her numbers say what we're getting, and that it's going to be such a good piece. I'm just super excited that we landed her.
I know. Yeah. And what a huge pick. So shout out to literally everybody that contributed to getting her home. And
she was on all the list as like a top 20 transfer in the portal. We got her in Lubbock and we signed her, and it's going to be hype looking towards next year. And even like when you look at the starting lineups and stuff, I've been like thinking about that, and
oh my gosh, yeah, your dream starting lineup.
I can't. Yeah, it's hard to know who's going to play like the one. Like, is it going to be Chevalier? I think she's going to be given the chance in the camp. Like, this is your team, Chev, show us. But I could see McKinney, who has some point guard tendencies, and on this team would be makes more sense for her to be the point guard. But she could also come off the bench and be a 2 when we need her. That's why everybody on this team is pretty versatile. I could even see Maupin playing some point if like Chev or McKinney got into foul trouble. As Maupin gets her handle better, I could see her being a point guard. Like, so there's a lot of options there, but you have Chev, who's, let's say Chev is 5'7", McKinney's 5'9". One of those is your 1 in the starting lineup. Then you have Shavers at 5'8", Maupin at 5'10" as a 3, 4, small forward, call it what you want. Right. Then Merritt's probably your 4 in a more traditional lineup, and then JoJo, if healthy, is your 5 at 6'6". Like, all of a sudden from last year, we played, like, people call it, was Texas Tech going into a small ball lineup? No, that was our lineup all year. We just played small ball. We didn't have a big ball lineup. We did not. Like, Katie Farrell was a point guard in high school and was playing the 5 at 6'1" for us all year in our most impactful lineups, unless she got into foul trouble. And she was our tallest player on the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now Merritt is our
absolute 180. Yeah,
it's great. The height and athleticism, and then like even Bryn was our 4 last year. She was at 6 foot. She's listed as a forward as well on her, but she was basically a guard at 6 foot. And Merritt will play that role, and she's a little different than Bryn, obviously, but they each have their strengths and weaknesses. And I'm really excited about the potential here. Can we fast forward to October? Can we just play games,
please? Oh,
like, I don't know who else we're gonna sign. There's gonna be, maybe we'll bring in someone else, but I'm super excited about the talent of this team.
So pumped.
We'll do another preview of the team while the season gets earlier. But this is about Merritt, and y'all, we got a good one. Y'all go watch some film. I'm super hype.
So good, and yeah, Jordyn, again, welcome to Texas Tech. Everybody's gonna love you. They already do. We already love you. Yeah. And I think. Really, really excited to see that smoothness. I think we've talked about her in so many ways, but like smooth. And to me, like smooth is fast. So that to me is, I think what I've noticed now. And like, let's see in October what happens, or hopefully we get to see them maybe play somewhere and do some fun stuff, how they mend with the team. But yeah, I'm so excited. Jordyn,
welcome to the squad. I'm ready to get her to Lubbock. Like, she got to get through finals and all that stuff, but she'll be here, and they'll start June workouts, and we'll start seeing film and all that stuff coming out from the social media team. And they don't have a trip to Greece this year. That's an every 4-year thing. You're allowed to do that, so we won't get to that fun this year. But we'll see them starting their preseason games like normal in like October. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited. She just added so much versatility and so much depth. And you can allow, like, Freeland's going to be hyped. Don't sleep on her. She's going to be huge this year.
So good.
But she doesn't have to be, like, thrust into the spotlight right away. She can take her time and come off the bench in 20 minutes a game and just dominate while Merritt takes off the pressure from her. So yeah, I'm just, everything about this girl. Potential just got a lot better for this team this year. and really allows us to compete in a more straight up manner this year. We won't have to be as gimmicky, I don't think. To win, we can just roll out our players and say, we're just as good as you are. Let's go at it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, this, I think, is adding value to the whole team, where the whole team doesn't have to feel, or they don't have to adapt as much as they did last season, because that's what they had to do. They can just ball in their own right and watch the magic happen.
Yeah, our coaches can use their creativity and their great coaching on other things. Exactly. Besides all the ways they had to allow us to win last year, because we were so overmatched athletically and size-wise on the inside. Now we have that. As long as they stay healthy, we have it, and I am stoked, y'all. So
let's go.
Y'all go watch some film on her if you want to get hype, or just trust us on this. She's a good one. She's a winner. She adds in that attitude from high school, and I think she fits in personality-wise really well. And I think we're going to see her personality come out even more here in Lubbock, because she's going to be allowed to do that. And I'm just really excited for her. As much as we're excited as fans, I think it's such a good situation after reading up on what she went through at Florida and her teammates went through. And it's just like, wow, this is a really good chance for her as a person and as an athlete to really live up to that potential. And I am stoked that she's going to get to do it in a Red Raider uniform or Lady Raider uniform. And it's going to be great. She's going to be here for 2 years, and people are going to be like, Jordyn Merritt, that's a Lady Raider that we remember for life, I think.
Oh, it's got a nice ring to it.
It does.
Well, that's what we got for y'all today. Just wanted to break that down. So welcome, Jordyn Merritt. We'll be back at our normal time. When we do it.
We do. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Follow us on all the things. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, which you have to be, because this is probably just a YouTube special episode. That's right. And we'll see you on Twitter and elsewhere.
Rack 'em!